What's up guys, my name is Ignas, welcome back to the channel. There is one market sector in our dividend portfolio that we don't have any positions as of yet. So now I would like to start adding at least some money into materials. For today's dividend comparison, I've picked 3 names from the specialty chemicals industry, and we'll check which one of those could be added into the portfolio. So the first name is Sherwin-Williams, ticker symbol SHW. On the year to date, the stock is down quite a bit, minus 27.99%, but switching to 5 years, the performance is quite decent, plus 77.33%. Sherwin-Williams will be the largest name for today, with a market cap of $63.28 billion, and the stock is now trading at a dividend yield of 0.98%. So this is the first name for today's dividend comparison, and I have 2 more to put against it. Second stock is Ecolab, ticker symbol ECL. On the year to date it is down for 36.76%, but zooming out to 5 years it is in the green, plus 8.49%. Company's market cap is at $41.4 billion, and it is trading at a dividend yield of 1.46%. And last but hopefully not least, Albemarle Corporation, ticker symbol ALB. On the year to date it is almost flat, plus 1.62%. But zooming out to 5 years, there has been some growth, plus 86.02%. This is the smallest company out of the 3, with a market cap of $28.18 billion, and it is now trading at a dividend yield of 0.66%. So these 3 are the stocks for today's dividend comparison, and to make that happen, we'll go to Google Sheets. I have prepared this table with the ticker symbol SIN, and for the comparison, we'll take a look into 5 different metrics. Dividend yield, dividend payout ratio, years of consecutive dividend increases, 5-year compound annual dividend growth rate, and the current dividend yield compared to its 5-year average. We'll take the numbers under every metric for each ticker, add them into this table and compare them in between. The best result under each metric gets a point, then we'll sum the points up, and in the end the stock with the most points will be considered the winner of this dividend comparison. I hope that the rules are clear, and early thumbs up would be very much appreciated, and with that out of the way, let's begin. So the first metric is the dividend yield. It is calculated by taking the annual dividend per share and dividing it by the share price. Sherwin-Williams is currently paying a dividend of $2.40, so at a share price of $244.19, that is here a dividend yield of 0.98%. Switching to Ecolab, their dividend is at $2.12, so with a price of $145.34, we here have a dividend yield of 1.46%. And lastly, Albemarle, the dividend here is $1.58, so at $240.05 per share, we have a dividend yield of 0.66%. Next metric is the dividend payout ratio. Percentage here shows what part of company's earnings are being used to pay dividends. So for Sherwin-Williams, the dividend payout ratio is at 23.45%, meaning that just under 1/4 of company's earnings are being used for the dividends. Now for Ecolab, the payout ratio is at 42.46%, so here 2/5 of earnings are used to pay dividends. And lastly, Albemarle with a payout ratio of 5.71%, so only around 1/17 of company's earnings are being used to pay dividends. Metric number 3 is the number of years with consecutive dividend increases. So for how many years the company has been increasing dividends for at least 1 quarter every year. In Sherwin-Williams' case, they have been increasing dividends straight for the last 44 years. Now Ecolab, and they are a bit behind, with 30 years of consecutive dividend increases, and Albemarle is just under that, where they have been increasing dividends consistently for the last 28 years. Next metric is the compound annual dividend growth rate. For the comparison, we'll take the 5-year average, including the next year's estimate. So in Sherwin-Williams' case, their 5-year dividend growth rate is at 15.92%. Now Ecolab, where their compound annual dividend growth rate is at 4.64%. And lastly, Albemarle, with 5-year dividend growth rate of 3.35%. Now the last metric is the dividend yield compared to its 5-year average. And for that we'll use my dividend investing watchlist on Google Sheets. So we have the tab for Sherwin-Williams. Here is its dividend yield history for each quarter of the last 5 years. And on average the stock was trading at a dividend yield of 0.8%. So the worst time to get into the stock was back in 2019, with a dividend yield of 0.57%, below average for 28.83%, and the best one was recently at 1.01%, higher than average for 26.1%. Though if we would be getting into the stock right now at a dividend yield of 0.97%, that is still quite there over the 5-year average plus 21.11%. So this is here that number that we will be comparing. Now let us take Ecolab. We have its dividend yield history for each quarter of the last 5 years, and on average the stock was trading at a dividend yield of 1.04%. So the worst time to get into the stock was by the end of 2021, with a dividend yield of 0.84%, under average for 19.42%. But if we would be getting into the stock right now at a dividend yield of 1.39%, that is pretty much the highest it has been in the last 5 years, higher than average for 33.35%. And lastly, let us check Albemarle. We have its dividend yield history for each quarter of the last 5 years, and on average it was trading at a dividend yield of 1.3%. So the best time to get into the stock was in the beginning of 2020 at 2.30%, over average for 77.57%, and worst time was in 2022 at 0.55%, below average for 57.54%. But if we would be getting into the stock right now at a dividend yield of 0.66%, that is not that much better under the 5-year average for 49.04%. So we have the information we needed for our comparison. If you would be interested in doing a similar analysis on another dividend paying stock yourself, you are able to access this watchlist by following the first link at the top of the description. Otherwise, feel free to add a ticker symbol in a comment below, and I'll consider adding that into the watchlist myself. Maybe you could share some interesting opportunity available in the market that I'm still missing. So we went through the free stocks and the numbers for our metrics are in. Now we can start assigning points. Ecolab gets the first one with the highest dividend yield at 1.46%, a point to Albemarle with the lowest dividend payout ratio of 5.71%, a point to Sherwin-Williams with 44 years of consecutive dividend increases, another to Sherwin with the highest 5-year dividend growth rate at 15.92%, and the last point goes to Ecolab, where its dividend yield is 33.35% higher than its 5-year average. Now that the points are assigned, we can calculate results. Sherwin-Williams got 2 points, Ecolab 2, and Albemarle 1. This means that we currently have a tie between SHW and ECL. So let us remove Albemarle from the equation and reassign that point elsewhere. So the extra point goes to Sherwin-Williams with a lower dividend payout ratio of 23.45%. This means that SHW now has 3 points and is considered the winner of this dividend comparison. So Sherwin could be an interesting add-in to our portfolio to start getting that exposure in the materials sector. What do you think, should we be adding into materials names right now? Share your best picks in a comment below. Also don't forget to support the channel and leave a thumbs up under the video. Last week I've looked into several other stocks, so if you are interested in any of these, then click on a video that is currently on the screen. And that was it from my side, thank you for watching and I will be seeing y'all in the next one.